Welcome everyone to the Roadmap 2023. As Scott mentioned, we have in the panel also Sal Kocher and Christine Stone, and we will be also available for your questions. Today, we will focus on the highlights that we would like to share with you. Those highlights already published in the Knowledge Center. You will find in the Knowledge Center under the product material, the Primo product material, the roadmap. You will be able to find here the roadmap for the Primo back office, and for the Primo VE, the highlights of them. And of course, we also added a section for the archive if you are interested to see. We have covered most of the thing in 2022. Some of the things we were moved to the first half of 23 as we needed more tuning of the requirements or the implementation. And think there is something that we're also back into our table for further details and design. As we shared, as I said, we are sharing the highlights. The highlights are being shared in the Knowledge Center either by category also or by timelines. You can go ahead, and there is also additional details if we have more details to share. We would like to also share with you that we are working very closely with the Primo working group, so with each features, and especially the nurse enhancement, we are sharing with them mock-ups and direction of solution and getting their feedback. So we are working very closely with you. We also, before going into the highlights of each one of the items that in this presentation, we also want to let you know that here the things that we choose to focus. There will be additional things that are going to be released down the road in 2023, and their details will be shared within the release note and also in the quarterly webinars that we are having with you. Okay, in the area of the user experience, what we are releasing in 2023 is improvement to the advanced search, new functions in advanced search. Those things that some of them we have already shared in the previously what's next. So what we are having is the ability to use the starts with operator or the starts with operator also for the holding call number. So far it was for title. We have added to the advanced search also a new section to support barcode search. We'll explain more. And we are about to release also for the Primo VE customer a new operator to support equals exact phrase. Of course, there are more details will follow later on in the dedicated slides. I'm just briefly share with you what is in the area of the user experience, and then if we have more details, we'll share later on that presentation. In the area of the improve in the pagination, as your nurse request was to improve the pagination, allowing user also to select the number of results from the top of the page. For the Primo VE customer, we also would like to emphasize that we intend to work on the browse search, on optimization over there to support better the pagination. This change may also require some changes in the UX. I mean that we may hide the facet as in order to support better pagination over there. So more details will follow while we do the analysis and development on that. In the My Library card, we also are going to have the option for user to filter the finds, to view and filter the finds by status. Today, we are only sharing the active one, the active finds. There will be an option to see additional finds by the additional status mentioned here. And we also are going to let the user the option to opt in or opt out from notification that our library may send, and we'll share it in a slide. More features that are improving the workflows and the experience of the user, the ability to search more easily in the My Favorites for your search records, the ability to have a resource type filter under the search bar. This is a new component. I'll share a dedicated slide and explain what is it all about. A new enhancement about improving the session timeout experience of the user, notifying them, ability to extend the session. The features that are marked with those icons are still features that the clear solution is not, we don't have a detailed solution for that. We will show more while we'll be closer to the release. Mainly the improved search experience when no results are found. This is an early enhancement started with the title of Preventing Autocomplete. The direction that we choose to go here, and it was also communicated to the working group, is whenever a user will get no results found, especially when no results were found when autocomplete suggestions was chosen, we may offer and suggest the user to expand their searches beyond the library collection. So we need to see that the solution is actually answering the need. In the area of the controlled digital lending, the controlled digital lending is the ability for a user to request for a digital copy over a physical resource, and behave and the workflow should behave with the same copies as if it is physical or if it is a print version. So here we are the Alma Digital team is going to work on that, and we will help and support them with the Patron workflows, meaning the ability for user to perform a request and monitor those CDL requests and loans, and let the user the access to the digital copy in the window where it might be available for this specific user. So this is supporting the Patron workflows with regarding to this area. The link data, we are soon going to release the offer info card. We will show more details on that, the way it's going to look and what is and how we utilize the link data URIs to have this offer info card available in the full records display. Make the authority catalog discoverable for patrons. This item was a year and a half ago, I think 2 years ago, in the roadmap. While discussing with the customer, we see that we took it for further discussion and requirements how to do that. We also work with the Alma team to check what Alma can support us with those search capability. Mainly, what we are going to have is a dedicated page for those authorities, so Patron can search for an authority and we'll be able to see more details on that authority. Also, go ahead and show the link to all of the associated records for this authority. This is the direction, and we will follow with more details. Okay, now we are going to drill down into each one of these items that we've shared in the area of the user experience, starting with the support start with option for the call number searches. As you can see, as I mentioned, the start with was previously available only for the title. Now we have added the support for also holding call number. The motivation for that was to allow the user to search in the range of this call number classification subclass, because there is a meaning for starting with those initial letters or numbers. It means searching in a range of this topic. So we wanted to support that capability for those powered users that may use the powered call number to get exact material in that area. We are, in order to support that, we are indexing now differently the holding call number to allow this capability. As I mentioned, this is now available. It is not only available through the advanced search for the institutions that are using the pre-filters. In the simple search, they can also add the holding call number with the stats with to appear also there. So in both options. So this was a nurse enhancement, and it's already released in the February release for both Primo and Primo V. The barcode search. This is again an enhancement. In this barcode search, we are actually introducing a new barcode section, allowing user to type in the barcode of an item, and we expect while doing it to get the associated records for this item. So user can, the benefit will help user locate the associated records based on this item barcode. What we are actually doing here is this is supported for the Primo Alma customers as Primo, and of course Primo V. As we are using and utilizing Alma API and attempt to search using the barcode in Alma to fetch the relevant MMS, the relevant record that it's associated to. As I mentioned also in the quarterly webinar, we are not indexing in the Primo VE information from the item level. Therefore, we assist external API to do that. We expect to have only one record. This is why the format is different. We expect to see here a full records and not a brief results as while searching in the search in the advanced search criteria section. So this regarding to the barcode search. Coming soon, a nurse enhancement from 2021. It is about introducing a new operator. We call it equals exact phrase. To support a real equal and exact and only an operator that will match against the user specific query terms and will attempt to match it as it is against the field's title, offer, and subject, with no inflection and with no additional search expansion to that. Just attempt to search as a user search, assuming that the one that is using this operator expect to feed the system with the exact phrase. Just to explain better, today we have an exact and equals that is working differently. It works as contain exact phrase. And when we release it, we're also going to change the name of that to contain exact phrase. That means that if I'm searching for offer David Green, for instance, the operator that is being used today was also include results that contain the exact phrase David Green, that there could be additional, like the years. We retrieve results that also include the years, actually the community raised the need to have the exact and only, and this is what we are going to deliver. This is really a complex and very detailed and tuned development. We are supporting it from the advanced search, and we are also going to provide you with configuration to support also from the hypertext linking that is displaying the full record. So you can choose to, for instance, to have for the offer within the details section in the full records, well, user clicking on that, so it will be able to open the advanced search with the offer and equal exact friend, and the name of the offer as you configure there in the hypertext linking. So going to be available from Primo VE, and the scope for that is this capability was implemented for those specific fields in both the Primo VE and the CDI search engines. Next is the improving the pagination experience. We are now providing the user the ability to change the number of search results per page, not only from the bottom of the page, but also from the top of the search results. As you can see here, we have changed the look of the total number of results retrieved to also reflect the range. And while clicking on that arrow, user can change the number of results per page. And of course, this should be synced with the number that is selected and the number of results at the bottom of the page. What we've also added is the ability to keep the selected numbers across the session. So if I'm signed in user, the system will memorize, will store their last preference, and once log in again in the next session in Primo, these settings will be available. Yeah, I think that I've covered most of the things that with this enhancement. This is also was released in the Primo NVE February release. Okay, improvement to the My Library cards. As you can see here, we are going to add in the Finds tab here a drop down a drop down to share to help the user filter finds in other status, not only the active find. I think that the direction will be if there are only active finds available for the user, we won't share with them this drop down. But if there are other finds that were already closed or untransferred that are available for that user, we will show this option and a drop down, and also the ability so user can view additional and filter. We also refer here to the current find balance. There is a setting that if there are finds untransferred, if institution choose to have the balance also include the finds that are in transferred, it will include that, and it will help the user also to understand and calculate it why you see a balance if he's going and navigating to the transferred find and can do the sum and understand more about this find balance that he is viewing. This is going to be released in Primo VE only. And the other improvement to my library card that is already existing in the Primo backoffice is the ability for user to opt in or opt out from receiving this library notification. For instance, user can go ahead and choose not to get a notification with regarding to activity report or any other one. So this is also something that we intend to let the user control of which notification from the library you want to get. About that I want to say that here we are mentioning this is coming from the idea and it's going to be implemented soon in my release. Support search in my favorites. We have added here the ability to search through your search record, saved records very easily. This search is more implemented. It gives a similar experience as if you are using the control find of the browser, like a really basic search. As mentioned, no inflection support and all of that, a basic search, attempting to find similar words in the title and the offer and the label fields to help user more easily navigate to the saved records that they are interested in here. And of course, this is available for the signed in user who utilize their saved records. under the search bar. Last year, we actually declare in the roadmap that we would like to have a search ribbon under the search bar to help the user narrow the searches according to a specific filters. We had several discussions with the Primo working group, with customer, attempting to get use case of what they are willing to say, and here we are releasing it is more relevant for resource types. As you can see here, under the search bar, the library can choose which resource type to share, which resource type to share with the user to help them narrow the results by these main resource types. So you will have a configuration to select, I think, up to 10 resource types. We will be able to see maybe 6 and more if needed. This resource type, while selecting, it's going to be sticky for the next searches until someone is doing a reset or all. And of course, it's not override or not contradict with the facet resource type that can still be remain here in the facet and filters area, as this could be referred more as a main resource type to filter by, and a user can filter by secondary resource type using the resource type facet. We are having this new component resource type filters bar here, as we are seeing that our user and experience with other search engines, we want to give them maybe a similar search experience. So it's up to you to decide if to activate and to decide which resource type to make available for your patrons under the search bar. Improving the user session timeout experience. This is an enhancement that we would like here to improve the experience of the user, notifying them before a session is about to time out. So I think that we will have the message 60 seconds before a session is about to be timeout, giving a user to acknowledge him about the upcoming session timeout and give him an option to extend the session. We are going to introduce a lot of configuration, new setting, up to you for the institution to decide what will be the extension, what will be the maximum. I think the maximum will be extend to the maximum is like 6 days, but it's all subject also to the authentication method that you are working with. Anyhow, continuing the experience of the user. So if the user did not see the message and the session were already timed out, we will add a notification to the user to let him know that the session is timed out, but we will also guide him that for the future use in the system, they can choose to go into the personal setting and choose the option to extend the session. As you can see here, we are going to add a new toggle in the personal setting and choose whether to automatically extend the session for future session, of course. So altogether, all of these free items that I mentioned are going to improve the way a user reacting once the session is about to time out. And this is coming soon in the May release. Link data, the offer info card. Here you can see that we are about to release an info card. We name it a related person, as this may reflect more information coming from external source about either authors, contributors, translators. What we are doing here, we are actually attempting to utilize linked data URIs that are being provided to us in the MARC records. We are going to start with Wikidata URIs. So if there are going to be, if we found Wikidata URIs that existing in the fields that I mentioned here, we are going to present these info cards for them. If those fields are missing and don't have the Wikidata URIs, the ALMA, the higher education platforms, are going to attempt to enrich it from the I think from the LC authority, for the Library Congress Authority. Anyhow, no matter how these URIs arrived into the records, whether manually or enriched, if those appears, that means this is a trigger for the discovery to get more information powered from Wikidata on that offer. So you can see here that we are actually presenting information about Jane Austen. I will show the thumbnail over there, the role, the years, and also we will link the user, add a link to Wikipedia for the user if they are really interested to learn more more about Jane Austen. So this is really a start of implementing and having out of the box in the discovery an info card, getting from it from external sources, and we of course continue to work to enrich and enhance it to other sources, and we will be happy to hear your use case on that. More use case and of course feedback of implementing that. Okay, so far I've covered all of the items that we wanted to share with you regarding to the area of improving the user experience. Now we are choosing to highlight with you things that can empower you as a library to what new tools and new configuration we are giving you in order to help you maximize and expose your library resource better. So one of the configuration option is the ability to enhance the resource type configuration in Primo VE. This is an else enhancement. Another coming from the idea, another option is the ability for you to expose in other sites item from your library, so you can increase the traffic to the library. It's come from the idea, and I'll share a dedicated slide for that. And of course, other configuration options that will be available in Primo VE. So regarding to the resource type configuration, so far we have in Primo VE out of the box resource types that we are getting from time to time requests to change, and we are checking with the working group each one of these requests in order to apply it to all. And we also so far gave you, the library, the ability to custom local resource type. With this enhancement, you will be able to custom not only local resource type, but also the system resource type. And this will be implemented really in a similar way to the way that you are using the local resource type. We've added, in addition to the custom record size, a tab for resource for the system resource type. So you will be able to choose one of the system resource type that you want to change. And what you can do here is actually you can add rules or conditions, custom rules and conditions based on your preference. And while the system is about to index and determine what will be the resource type for that record, we will give a prioritize to the custom resource type conditions and rule. Before we will go into the out-of-the-box rules and conditions that we are having. So this will give you the flexibility to change the out-of-the-box resource type by adding your own rules and condition. Also something that is coming soon in the May release, and of course relevant for the Primo V. Next, the idea we read in your idea, your desire to have a carousel widget where you can expose relevant library resources, for instance, at other sites. So we are going to have a sample that can help you embed web component in other sites and increase specific library items based on query or search criteria that you would like to have. And then you can add, for instance, to specific faculty relevant material or new arrivals material relevant to that search criteria in such a visual way. I think that the way we are going to introduce it, we are going to have a blog post in the developer network sharing with you how you can implement and giving you a sample of how this can be achieved. So it's going to be easy for you to go ahead, implement and deploy in other sites. So we plan to have this option available for you in the second half of 23. Additional configuration in the Primo VE in the area of the dedup and the Ferber. We would like, in the area of the dedup Ferber, we would like to give you the option to define keys for that help you define the Ferber matching combination or matching definition to help you define those keys based on local fields. So you will better tune the way that the Ferber is being grouped. Additional in the area of the Ferber group is the ability to support relevant sorting within the Ferber group. So today, if a user go ahead and go inside and see the list of version available within this Ferber, it's not necessarily sorted by relevant of the user query. If I'm searching in French, for instance, and I know it's not necessarily that the French item within this list of version will prioritize and ranked higher. So we would like to work and give you this option available. In the area of loading external sources, we are going to give you more flexibility to define what are the available status when using the what will be the available status presenting based on some condition that you can define the discovery import profile. And we are also going to provide you a configuration where you can determine to display the item policy in the Get It. Will be available for institutions that the item policy is defined as a persist attribute. It means it's predefined, it's independent of any fulfillment rule, and you want to share it just the way it is in the Get It for your user. So we are going to give you a configuration and help you share it with your patron, and no matter if they are guests or signed in. More in the area of the special collections. The first item is relevant from the Primo VE only. So we are going to open the collection discovery to include and help you include not only local items from your local catalog managed in Alma, but can also add a few single records coming from CDI of other external sources loaded. I think that this could improve the options that a collection curator have. It doesn't necessarily need to figure out whether item is managed in Alma or in CDI. They can choose to enrich the collection from other sources. So we are going to check new ways to allow that. And your next enhancement that you would like to learn more about the collection, which collections are used, mostly used. So we are going to enrich the Primo analytics for indication to reflect usage per collection. And I'm switching off to Christine to better explain about CDI related.
Okay, thank you, Neely. Yeah, just very briefly about some of the things that we are planning for CDI this year. Obviously, there's a lot of other things going on, but I think these are probably the things that are most relevant for you and you're interested in. The first focus that we have is still the rights processing. We are currently at about 30 hours average. Rights processing meaning you activate something on your ALMA or your SFX. It's being published to CDI. CDI picks it up, and it takes 30 hours on average before the user sees it on the Primo interface. So this is what we mean with rights processing time, from the time you activate or deactivate something to the time the user sees it on the Primo UI. And we want to reduce this further. We are rolling out a new process for that slowly, because we don't want to do too much at the same time. But we hope that by the end of the year, we are at about 24 hours, let's say 24 to 30 hours to be on the safe side, but it could also be kind of 24 hours. We're trying to get it as quick as possible. So this is still very much a focus for us. And as I said, we are going to wrap this up by the end of this year. We have a few areas in data quality enhancements that I would like to point out here. The first one is the consistency of language and publication date fields. We have sometimes a problem that if we have in the merged record several participants with different dates and different language values, that incorrect values are coming on or surface on the user interface, also in the facets, display, etc. So we are working currently on an improvement to the consistency, and that should be out relatively soon. We are planning to have this out in probably beginning of Q2. We are going into the testing period now, but I don't expect any hiccups here. So we probably can release it in time. And the next one, oh, I have a typo there. Sorry, I thought I corrected the typo with book reviews. Never mind. But we're also working on a process to better identify book reviews. Currently, we still have a lot of book reviews which are labeled as articles, but we want them obviously to have them the correct resource type book review. So this is something that we're working on later this year. And then we're going to improve open access handling with the addition of unpaywall as an indexed collection. As you know, unpaywall is currently available via API. You have an article in your result list, you go out and check if unpaywall has an available open access link currently, but this means also that it's not part of the availability filter, and it's also not part of the facet. So with the indexing of the unpaywall collection, it becomes available also then, of course, in the knowledge base, so you can activate it, and it's part of the availability filter and part of the facet. Then we have some longer term, bigger data projects. We are planning to have some of this released this year, but we are still in the analysis phase. So I'm a little bit careful here how I phrase this, because I'm not entirely sure that we will be able to release all of this year. We're certainly planning to have some of this year, but only towards the second half of the year, we will be able to tell what exactly we are going to release. So we're going to add secondary resource types for CDI, meaning that we have additional attributes explaining what an item is about. The first two resource types that we are looking at the moment is retractions and review articles, because this was also flagged as very important by many of you. We may add then other resource types later, but we also need real good and reliable sources for that data. So we need to really go one by one. We cannot add masses right at the beginning. So we're going to add the field, and then we're going to work on the sources to populate this field properly as soon as we have critical mass. And this is really when we're going to start releasing this on the UI. You're going to be able to surface the secondary resource part to your users on the Primo interface. There's no mockup yet. We are we haven't really discussed the UI part yet, but there will be a UI part, and we will announce it, of course, well before we're going to release it. We're going to connect the author names to ORCIDs. We currently do load ORCIDs, but not necessarily connected directly to the author name. And we want to use the ORCID database to enrich the index. So we're going to create the field related to the author with an author index, and we're going to add the ORCIDs there and possibly longer term other IDs. This helps us with several things. One is to have more accurate author searches. Secondly, also, Nili mentioned earlier the author card for your local data, but we may be able to do something also for CDI data in future if we have these IDs. But it's also really about accuracy of the search for author and also the display of the author name. Then the third part here is to separate keywords and normalized subjects. Currently, we have one field, which is the subject field, and we really normalize everything we get from the providers into this field as subjects. We had various people telling us they would like to see the separated, separate controlled subject headings in one field and keywords in another field. So this is another project that we have this year. We still need to finalize a choice of vocabularies that we use. We're probably going to use the Library of Congress and MESH. And I'm looking currently also at the ProQuest thesaurus, because ProQuest has a very good thesaurus for their data, and that may also be a good choice. So this is something that is currently in analysis, but we're going to make a decision very soon what we are going to use, and then we're going to map the subjects and split the field. Again, this is a big project also because we need to look at disambiguation and deduplication, and that is not always easy. So we already have some experience with that because we did a proof of concept, but hopefully we can have that out either later this year or beginning next year. So these are the three big projects. Nili, can you go to the next? Thank you. Also search and ranking, just a few things to point out. The citation search, I should probably explain first what I mean when I say citation search. Citation search is if a user is going to a website or anywhere really, and is copying a citation and just pasting it into the Primo search box. And we see a lot of this in the Primo search logs. So it's really quite popular to do this. We also had some feedback from some of you. We did improve this quite significantly over the last 2 years because it can really confuse the search engine. You have lots of little things in there like volume, issue, etc., brackets, and whatever, and it can really confuse the search engine. So we already improved this quite significantly over the last 2 years, but we decided at this point that we wanted to give it another boost and use a machine learning tool to do this. Grobit, this is an open source tool, which we're going to add, and that's currently in testing. It looks good so far, but we also need to test in performance. But I think we can release this fairly soon. So we're planning this for beginning of Q2 at the moment, provided that the testing is going well. So this should really enhance this, or give this another boost. I don't think that we're going to get to 100%, that it's really 100% supporting every single citation that that someone pastes into the search box, but it should get to a very high percentage. Support of Melingo, that's the Hebrew search plugin that already exists in Primo, but it doesn't in Primo Local, but not in CDI. So we're going to add this. This is actually a major project. It kind of looks so small here, but it's quite major. And then I also mentioned here the ongoing enhancements because it takes quite a big part of what we are doing. We have regular team meetings where we review new content in CDI, feedback we get from you, the community, and also tests that we run. And then we decide every time what we need to do in order to improve things or change the balance or other things that need to be done. So ongoing enhancements really take quite a bit of our time. And that's all I have for CDI. Back to you.
Thank you, Christine. Really. Okay, thank you, Christine. So before we are moving into your questions, so we also want to share that in addition to all of those feature release, we have this ongoing analytics As Christine, we have also always ongoing stuff happening for analytics. We are adding action based on new features that we are doing and doing analysis for cases that you are submitting. Accessibility also, we are making sure that each feature is have the accessibility standards, and also we want to share that recently, early in this year, we conducted external audit, and the results and the update VPAT and documents and the roadmap to be solved this year will be published soon in the Knowledge Center. And also to recap, we shared with you the highlights, and as Christine also mentioned, there are more things that may be released closer more to the release notes, so we can share more detail over there as well. Just before moving into your questions, we would like you also to be familiar with these two conference that we're having, the Luna and the Igloo. We also want you to already register to the next What's New Primo on the second quarter of 2023, scheduled for April 20. And now really is a good time to go into your questions, Scott. I see that some were already answered in the Q&A during
Yeah, we've answered some of the questions. Yeah, we've answered some of the questions in the Q&A, but there are other questions that are out there as well, and we'll go through those. First question is there a limit to the number of items that can be added to my favorites list?
I think that I'm not sure that we are hardcode limit the number of items. No, and I think that we also this is a better case for the support. I'm not sure that we have a limit, and we added load more results in order to not have a limit to the graph. But of course, it should be a reasonable number. We have added the saved the search in my saved records to help user find the item instead of navigate it next to better find the items.
Okay, the next question is, do we have to configure the new search by barcode feature? Apologies if you already covered this.
Yes, it's not activated, it's disabled out of the box. You can go ahead to the release note of the February release, and there is it should be a simple setting to add that.
Here's a comment question. Maybe making the favorites a folder icon would help. So many competitors use it, so consistency would be nice.
Of course, you were welcome to have to write in the idea or also send it to me. What do you think? Yeah, I know that in Salmon, I think it's look like a folder. Here, yeah, the pinned icon is used. Of course, we are supporting the benefit of Primo is the ability to custom. I think that this can be changed. Correct me. This can be changed through customization.
The icons should be able to change. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question is call number starts with is not working. Do we need a re-indexing?
It depends. If you're a Primo back office, yes, and it's stated there that you need to adjust normalization rule and then reindex. In the Primo VE, in your sandbox, it may not working. You need to select the several records and reindex, but it should be already indexed because we are almost done with the semi-annual indexing, and for your production, it should be indexed. If you encounter with issue, I suggest to submit a case, and we will happy to assist and check what is in your specific case.
Okay, another question is still not a true exact search. It will still expand before and after the phrase queried.
No, it is a true exact span. I was trying to explain what is the difference between the existing equals that we are going to change the name and what is coming. It should be exact and only with no additional from the right or from the left side. Yeah.
Okay, the next question is, for the hypertext linking, will we need to choose in configuration between equals and equals exact phrase, or will it be possible for patrons to choose between when linking?
I think that you will have to choose for them. As a patron experience it as a link.
They will then they can then change they can then change it if they want to, but but the link is defined by the library.
The default one.
Another question is, now that barcode search via API exists, will it be easier to add search in other parts of the item, like item call number, public notes, etc.?
We need to check. We need to check. Please submit the use case for that, and yeah, maybe this will be direction for adding an additional search capability that will went through the Alma one. We need to check for existence of such APIs in Alma. Please, this is something that I hope submit an announcement or idea so we can better understand the use case.
Okay, next question is there ability to have separate resource types for print books versus ebooks?
Oh, it depends. You will be able to determine based on specific rule or condition whether it could be an ebook or a book, based on if the question was referring to the ability to custom the system resource type. So you will be able to more accurately determine to mark it as an ebook rather than a book. Yeah.
I believe there are some sites that did it today, and I think with the new functionality that Neely showed, there'll be more tools to allow you to do it and change the out of the box. But there's some sites have done this today.
Okay, next question is, when patrons choose to opt out of library notifications, will staff in Alma be able to see this information? I can see that the patron might opt out of all notifications, then get confused, frustrated that there is no communication from the library at all. If they tell the library staff that they aren't getting notifications, it would be helpful for staff members to be able to see what their settings are by looking at the user record.
Yeah, this should be visible, I believe, in Alma as well. We will check that well more closely to the design of that, yes. Mainly most of the things that we are like from the personal settings, let the user edit or save or change, those toggles should be reflected in Alma. We will verify that.
Okay, will the author card ever be available in Primo back office?
Currently not planned for the Primo back office. As we are utilizing some services API that the higher education platform are providing us, this is currently not. We can say that today we saw in the Primo back office customer using the customization to achieve similar experience, but yeah, this is currently available for the Primo V.
Okay. With regards to author cards, we have a use case for author cards specifically for local and university authors. We'd like to be able to use this feature very selectively.
I invite you to share your use case with us so we can see more and learn what you're targeting. So I can also add link data, a person that is also responsible for link data, and we learn your use case. Please write us.
Also interesting because if it's from one institution, I assume it would be a mixture between your local data that you have in Alma and the data is coming from CDI, because it would also be like people publishing articles. It should be interesting. Yeah, I would also love to see that use case.
Okay, next question is, will it be possible to re-rank the resource types? Ideally, we'd like to have our custom resource types not outrank some of our system notes. Or system ones, excuse me.
I'm not sure I followed.
Okay, if that individual could rephrase that question, I'll get to it. Next question is, for the holdings call number starts with feature, what data are being indexed and searched? We expect the holdings call number information only in the 852 field to be used, but we are also getting search results when using it that are not in the holdings 852 field, but instead match in the bib fields like 082, etc.
This is two details to take in this. Or either write us email or submit a case. We will handle better.
Okay. Give me a second. Millie, you have something showing up on your screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Just give me a second. And if I ask this question, my apologies. For linked data information displayed in the info card, will there be some way for institutions to locally override, modify what is displayed in the event incorrected data at the source? This question.
I'm not sure I understand if they want to be able to custom the field displaying, or they affect the external sources we are loading. Please do write us.
Okay. Next question is, will the author card appear automatically, or do we need to activate it via configuration?
You will be able, you will need to turn it on, so you will know to enrich the full records based on your setting.
Okay. Then that rephrase question is for the re-ranking question. We have a local resource type for government documents. If it's a government document and a video, we want to show it only as a video. Will that be possible?
If it's a local resource type, isn't this something, and the video is out of the box? I'm not sure. Please write me an email and we will check and try to follow up what will be the options over there.
Okay, and then there's just a follow-up comment with regards to one of the questions. It says, starts with call number, works for me now. Be sure to add the holding call number index in views, advanced search config, add index, search index, and then select it. It's kind of buried. So anyway, that ends the Q&A portion. Nilly, if you want to make some concluding remarks so we can end at the top of the hour, that'd be great.
Just one question, just one point,
Sure.
Nilly and Scott. I mean, because I think there were a few questions about this, about do I need to activate something or does it come out of the box? I think this is always tension between, making it simpler and having the feature shipped out, as opposed to what many institutions are telling us that they don't appreciate us making changes on the interface because they want to know about it, they want to control it, they want to control their learning materials and their courses and stuff. So there's kind of often a tension there, and we try as much as possible to allow the institution to actually decide when they ship this out. I think there were quite a few questions around that that came up today.
Good point. Thank you, Israel. Thank you also, Christine. Also, we are excited to see that all your questions also in the area of the linked data. Please, we do appreciate your feedback and input. It helps us tune the use cases. Feel free to write us and we will see. Thank you for joining the roadmap of 2023. And yeah, we expect to see you in other webinars and down the road in the conferences as well. Thank you.